Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video, and I'm going to be talking about some newly shown items from Marvel Legends at Toy Fair 2019 in New York. So we have some of the kind of retro X-Men character figures that are coming out. They're doing a little bit of a line. They're in different packaging too, if I'm not mistaken. We've seen the packaging for Cyclops, but it's kind of a neat little series where they're going back and doing some X-Men characters, but kind of by themselves without like an X-Men wave per se. So it's kind of interesting. They've shown four. They've shown four. I have three pictured here. I'll briefly talk about the other one, just I don't find it too interesting. It's Wolverine in his black suit. Nothing too special for me. It's just kind of a standard Wolverine figure. New head sculpt, obviously. I don't like the black around his eyes. This isn't like a costume for Wolverine that I particularly like myself. And then the figure is just kind of plain anyway. So it doesn't do a whole lot for me, but interesting looking Wolverine. These three are a little bit more interesting in my opinion. On the left, you have the one that I'm most interested in. It's the only villain, basically, of these four. It's the Silver Samurai. Really like the look of this guy. I love the 3 3/4 inch version of Silver Samurai, and I've been wanting Silver Samurai to be made in the Marvel Legends like series for quite a while now, and I would have even been okay if he was a Build-A-Figure. It's taken a while, but we're finally getting him. I think he looks really cool. It's a completely new sculpt, of course. He does look pretty bulky, and he does have two samurai swords, which is obviously his signature weapon. He just looks great. I really like that nice shine to his armor too. He looks very shiny, very clean, and the expression, although albeit like a little bit plain, it's still all right. You do still have some like anger in there. Would have liked him to look even more angrier or have his mouth a little bit open, something like that. But it looks like a great figure. I definitely plan to pick up Silver Samurai. Then we have the Dazzler. She looks alright. Kind of a standard figure, to be honest. Even the kind of coat and arms are reused from other characters before, I believe. The head sculpt is new, but there's not a ton going on there. The kind of tassels on the headbands that are kind of flapping in the wind, that looks pretty nice. The most interesting thing about it, in my opinion, is those two like accessory pieces that we've gotten a million times before. There's nothing interesting about them, just their sculpt themselves. But what I do like about it is that they're pink with like this kind of glitter effect inside of them. That's new, because they never have had like any sort of glitter like inside of them before. It kind of gives them a little bit of a different look and makes them look a little bit more interesting, although just the sculpt themselves is incredibly plain because we've seen it a million times. Then we have this X Factor Cyclops. It's not a costume that I particularly like for Cyclops. If this was like a classic looking Cyclops, I'd be more into it, because what I really do love about the Cyclops is that head sculpt. The head sculpt where he's angry and he's blasting off the beams. This is exactly what I wanted with the Cyclops that came out in the Warlock wave. That, like, if you watch my review of that figure, and anytime I ever talk about that figure, my biggest issue with it is that he doesn't come with a head like this, because he's actually a really plain figure. Like, he's an extremely plain figure, because they're not representing his power. The thing that makes him interesting and cool, it's not represented in that figure. So this head sculpt just looks awesome. If I was ever to get this figure, I would just repaint that head so that it fit on the 90s style body, because I love the head sculpt. It's really great, but again, the rest of the figure is pretty plain. It's your standard body sculpt, and then the costume itself is not one that I'm particularly fond of for Cyclops. But overall, there's some interesting figures here. To be honest, for me personally, the Silver Samurai is the only one that I'm going to get. The other ones I don't really need. But for X-Men fans, there's definitely some cool characters here, and I'm sure that you'll be happy with some of them. So yeah, there's my thoughts on these new X-Men Marvel Legends figures coming out, featuring the Wolverine in his black suit, the X Factor Cyclops, Dazzler, and Silver Samurai. Let me know what you guys think of them, and thanks so much for watching.